Welcome back to another Chris McPherson Show Daily Dose. We've got a few coming to you this week. There's plenty happening around the tennis scenes, but we've had to escalate this one up the chain with breaking news in Rugby League today. There's a couple of cases of breaking news. The most minor of those, Josh Hannay's coaching appointment at the Gold Coast Titans to replace Des Hasler. But the big one is Brandon Smith, former Kiwi test star, or ongoing potentially, depending on the outcome of this case. There was talk that he might have been a smoky for the Kiwis' end-of-season squad. And Rabbitohs player Brandon Smith, he's been reportedly charged with one count of supplying dangerous drugs and one count of using or disclosing inside knowledge for betting. Smith was questioned by Queensland Police, and it was well publicised ahead of South Sydney's round at 23 clash at Gold Coast Airport, and was released without charge. But the police discussions with Smith were a part of a wider investigation, which now has led to two charges being handed down. It certainly remains unclear what information that Smith is alleged to have released or been the provider of, while it's also unclear in terms of the exact nature of the drug offence. I'm sure more will come to light, but police have said a 29-year-old man has been issued with a summons by Queensland Police on August 20th for supplying dangerous drugs and using or disclosing inside knowledge for betting. And the man is expected to appear in the Southport Magistrates Court on the 18th of September. This all ties into investigations by organised crime and gangs group detectives, Task Force Maxima, which are ongoing and continuing. So it's quite an interesting one. Souths have come out and said they're aware of allegations made by Queensland's police against Brandon Smith. The club's informed the NRL Integrity Unit. As this matter is part of an investigation, the Rabbitohs will be making no further comment at this stage. Let's be honest, that is absolutely par for the course. They're not going to come out and take a stance either way. They'll allow the Integrity Unit to deal with this. Smith's out injured anyway, so it's not really impacting playing time. So we will see what's going to happen here. Certainly after Smith had that airport interview, the police commissioner, or acting police commissioner, I think it was, said, look, we did speak to Brandon at Coolangatta when he arrived. We chatted to him about a number of things, and he was then able to go on and play football. And there's an ongoing police matter they're dealing with. That's obviously come to a head now, and look, it's an interesting one. We know that the NRL is not shy of scandals that involve drugs, gambling, and plenty more. We've certainly seen plenty. Ben Barber, when we have a look at it, obviously was one involved in that. Jacob Locko was sentenced for drug possession. We've seen former NRL players in the headlines as well. So, it's one of those things that it appears, unfortunately, rugby league and scandal, controversy are not always that far apart. It is important to note that Smith is innocent until proven guilty. And whilst charges have been laid, more will be known after that September 18th proposed court date. There's certainly been plenty of players over the years, as I said, that have been involved in these sorts of pieces, and Brandon Smith not the only one. When we look at the betting side, obviously Ryan Tandy, a cautionary tale, and hopefully Smith is exonerated of these charges, and certainly we hope that nothing comes to the stage it did with Tandy and all of what came with him going back. But these things date back to 1963 when it was claimed that some in the Western Suburbs camp placed money on St George back in the 1963 grand final. So an interesting one. John Elias has admitted that he formerly was involved in fixing a match, and he came out in his Simeon saying that he had 4 Rabbitohs players on board at one point for a match against Western Suburbs, but the deal fell through. And then we saw, obviously, the Roosters and Cowboys, where back in 2009, Brad Fittler was forced to deny rumours his team had thrown their final round clash after TAB suspended betting before the match after a rush of money on the Cowboys to win 13+, and the Roosters went on to lose 32-16 after leading 16-0 early. And the NRL was issued a please explain letter from the Victorian Commission for Gambling Regulation. However, the match was eventually cleared of any possible manipulation. So there's been plenty of these. More recently, David Williams was one of 5 players suspended for putting wagers on NRL matches involving their clubs. Ethan Lowe, Cody Nelson, Hymel Hunt and Slade Griffin all received 2-week bans. Williams copped the whole second half of the season after he was found to have bet on several matches he was involved in. No suspicions of match fixing, just betting on games where he had inside knowledge. So it's not something new to the game. It's not something that's going to go away. There will always be questions when there are anomalous results. And it'll be interesting to see what plays out with this one with Brandon Smith. There's been plenty of scandals. There'll be plenty more undoubtedly with rugby league. It just seems to go, as I said, hand in hand. And again, hopefully Brandon Smith is exonerated. He is innocent until proven guilty. But this is a story that's going to develop, and we can't look away from it, unfortunately. We'll have to see how it plays out over time and what that shape's like, because this is an interesting one for rugby league, certainly at this time of the season. And some might be coming out and saying, and I've certainly seen some on social media talking about this, saying maybe the Roosters let him go knowing that there was something here in the works that was going to wash out. But yeah, that's going to be interesting, because if the Roosters had some knowledge and they didn't report it to the integrity unit at the time, they could find themselves in a little bit of hot water as well. The Rabbitohs will have plenty to deal with. Certainly, Smith has been on the outer with a couple of clubs. Injuries, form is some of the things that the Roosters sort of threw about there. But we saw some glimpses in his first hit-outs for Souths. Whether he can get back to that, if exonerated. If he's not exonerated, does that spell the end of his career? It may well determine based on what the punishments are. But again, we'll be watching this with bated breath, waiting to see what happens. In the meantime, though, we look forward to bringing you more of our daily doses in the coming days. Stay tuned for our US Open daily doses. We're going to have some more around the Women's Rugby World Cup, the Rugby Championship, the NBL Blitz coming later this week. There's so much more. And, of course, our regular Thursday night Around the Grounds episodes that you can catch as well. So until then, make sure to stay up to date with our social media channels. You can find us at The Chris Mack Show on X, on TikTok, on Facebook, and on Instagram. And we look forward to talking to you about sports soon. And hopefully we see Brandon Smith found not guilty with this one, because it's just not a great look for the game of rugby league.